I think we're facing a huge crisis at this time in the history of humankind, of our grand evolution on the planet. We've started to use an amount of resources that's unsustainable upon this planet. We know now that our ecological footprint, as well as our carbon footprint, is so large that this planet cannot sustain us as human species, and also sustain our activities at the pace at which they're going. And it's important for us to be mindful about our presence here. It's important for us to understand where we are at now in our evolution as humans, to be conscious of our role, our presence, and our ability to think in a holistic way, to look towards solutions that don't involve just us, but also involve the whole planet as a living being, as a living planet, and include in our visions, include in our ideas of our existence, all living beings, all living species. To look at the world as one, and we as part of that one, and we have to be able to step outside our limited ego selves and to think of this larger ecosphere that we live in. Part of that, I think, is to also look at how much we consume, how we impact the world that we live in, how we impact the little space around us, but also the communities, the environment, and at large the world, the ecosphere that we live in. How our simple actions of daily living, turning on our electrical connections, opening our taps, driving our cars, consuming the food that we consume, purchasing the clothes that we purchase, and at the rate at which we do these things, our electricity, our water, our resources, being mindful of how our actions, our daily living actions, are impacting the world around us. So to reach beyond our limited selves, our ego selves, and to think of the eco self, I think, what we can say is the ecosphere that we exist in. And part of those solutions, part of the introspection into our lives, I think, is to understand that we are capable of changing, that we are capable of taking a path upon this evolution of us as humans, which where we question our needs, as opposed to our wants, and we become simpler in our choices. We ask ourselves, what really is enough for us? We ask ourselves, where do we draw the line between our needs and our wants? And we think of the quality of our existence more than the quantity that we are so fixated with. I think that would primarily mean to look at the relationships that we enjoy within our communities, within our families, within our species, and also within the world, with trees, with animals, with all creatures, with all living beings, and also the landscape, with plants, with animals, with rocks, with mountains, with lakes, with rivers. To understand what is our relationship with them and how it influences us as breathing, living, believing, feeling beings. Just be conscious of our existence. When I think of all of these things in my personal life, I think of small steps that bring me closer to defining my needs. And as I do that, I come to a sense of understanding, a sense of realization that it's important to live simple. Simple in the way I consume resources. Simple in the way I impact the world by my choices on a daily basis. But also to be mindful of what I can do to influence others around me in the way I make my choices, and to influence them not in a way of persuasion or coercion, but to influence them by the simple act of compassionate living, by believing in what I do as a non-violent, compassionate way of existence on this planet.